In the morning, my son and I do daily meditation. We do daily affirmations, we do daily gratitude and daily reading, all while I'm taking care of my newborn son and making sure he's fed, his diaper is changed, and to make sure that he's happy as well. I definitely feel like with the daily affirmations and our daily routine, they do set the intentions of the day that we're gonna start the day off great and we're gonna start the day off dominating our task. I do get a lot of individuals, more specifically young women, come up to me nearly in tears because they saw me make the impossible possible. I am Ohio's 3rd State Senate District's first woman, first person of color, and first Democrat. When it comes down to Asian American culture, we're expected to be quiet, keep our head down, mind our own business, don't stir up trouble. No one has really expected us to be politicians. It's as if the American dream is the American dream for certain people, but it should be the American dream for all people. So I wanted to be the voice, I wanted to be the change I wanted to see in the world, but that all happened all because I stuck my name on the ballot. So here is a couple of family photos today. They mean a lot to me and my campaign and the reason why I ran for office and about my upbringing. So this is my paternal grandmother. She is my dad's mother, so she is actually the one who sponsored my family to come here to America. So she came first in 1984, and then we came in 1990. So my parents are refugees from the country of Laos during the Vietnam War era. My father was actually in the Laos army, and my mother was a nurse. We felt like the American dream was much more important than a communist takeover at the time. We came to Columbus, Ohio in 1990, so I have been an Ohioan born and raised since then. Growing up as a child of refugees, it oftentimes felt like we were doomed to fail. The system was never set up to have us succeed. I also unfortunately lost my mother and brothers in a car accident very young. So my dad and I do have a strange relationship ever since my mother passed because he doesn't know how to be a single father. With our culture, the man is working all the time and the woman stays at home and takes care of their kids. So when my mom passed away, he didn't realize how much she did for us. So that's why I was in foster care. After she passed away, he just threw me off the system and said, "Here, you take her because I can't." My options were limited, but I didn't even know if I was gonna graduate high school at the time. They had this dream from my brothers that the future for them is endless. From me, my future was limited. I was meant to get married, have kids, live in the white picket fence of suburban Ohio. So now at 31 years old that I did the complete opposite, I think I need to keep going. I gotta still continue to make changes that I would never have guessed at the 10-year-old little girl whose future was limited. So I felt like constantly, ever since I was in my mother's womb, I was always determined to prove the system wrong. The system was trying to fail me, but I felt like I always had to prove to the system that the American dream is meant for me too. So I am gonna drop a bill today and I hope to gain your support. I most certainly need all hands on deck for that vote. I wanna see if I can get this bill moved on through your committee. Despite my son being 5 weeks old, I have not been able to sit at home and take care of my maternity leave because of the daily shootings that I see happening around our country and happening nearby our state. And I can't sit at home and do nothing while this country and our state continues to not do something.
This is
Now, it sounds like everything that's crazy going on in the world is going on in the House.
We have some gun legislation that we have passed in the House that's just kind of far out, in my opinion. So, for example, we had this bill, we just passed it. It's going to make its way over to the Senate. It's a permitless concealed carry bill where you're allowed now to carry a concealed weapon in Ohio without any permit, without any license, without any background check, without any training whatsoever.
You probably know by now I'm deeply concerned right that, especially with me just having a baby recently. Yeah. And you know, my son too in our Canal Winchester City schools, he's moving on to middle school. And those teenage years with all those hormones, I can only imagine how much bullying is gonna damage these kids and how much the pandemic has already damaged these kids. Mental health is a big...
Well, my impression of Tina, since I've known her, is that she's a very caring person who is concerned about and looks out for the interests of her constituents, who is a hardworking individual, who isn't really in it for any kind of glory or self-aggrandizement. She is really, seriously, just trying to do things to help folks have a better life. People didn't expect her to win. She was going up against a 4-term House incumbent. So she was a very well-known commodity, very well-known name, very well-funded, very likable and well-known establishment politician. And everybody assumed that she was gonna really defeat Tina pretty easily.
The Democratic Party did not give me endorsement or support my race early on during the primary election. It felt discouraging because it felt like I didn't belong in their Democratic Party, even though I have the same beliefs and same issues, but they made me feel discouraged that I shouldn't belong in politics. I won't belong in politics. But the way I took that messaging was, I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm doing well. When I graduated with my bachelor's in political science at Ohio University, I was a single mother to my son Tang at the time. So we drove to Athens, Ohio, and he watched me walk across the stage. Having an undergraduate degree was something I've always dreamt of doing, but with all the life barriers that I went through, I didn't know positively if it was gonna be a possibility for me. With the political science degree, I was iffy on what I wanted to do next. I thought maybe I could become a lawyer for corporate America, but I didn't necessarily cross out political science or anything in politics at the time. I just didn't know what could I do at the time. For me personally, what made me decide to go ahead and get my name on the ballot and run for office was one of my childhood friends actually got murdered. So when he was 20 years old, he was at the wrong place, wrong time, and he became the victim of gun violence, but they never found a murderer. I went to an advocacy day for Asian Americans and voiced my concerns to another legislator. He really inspired me to try to take a look into politics because he was my state representative, but he heard me, he listened, he tried to find answers for me to the best of his knowledge. And I thought if he can do that, I can do that too. So I went ahead and researched ways to get on the ballot, to become an elected official, more specifically to become a state legislator. And I went ahead and made my way into politics to get on the ballot and win. I knew change was gonna come, but I knew that I was gonna be that change because there was no other person outside of me who was gonna step up to make that change. These folks are my neighbors, they're my friends, they're my coworkers, they're my family essentially. I fight hard for my family, and so this district is my family too. I was a single mom when I ran for office. I had to take them everywhere with me because I had no choice. I just could not afford to pay for childcare and run for office at the same time. So I was stuck. I just brought them with me. So we just went around to wherever we were at coincidentally and just started knocking on doors, talking to people. Or even when I was at the store, I'll make small talk with folks and I'll say, oh, by the way, I'm running for office. Make sure you vote for me in November. They would have this stigma that my family came here illegally, undocumented. I said, no, sir. We came here as refugees. It was as if I was an outsider to my own state, let alone my own hometown. So we talked about the life experience, and that's when they realized, okay, she's another human being just like us. She's not another politician. She's not just someone who's just trying to jib our system. She's just someone who just wants to be a change maker in the world. She wants to change the world that we all live in currently because it felt like there's no changes going on at the time.
All right.
I haven't seen you all pandemic, right?
That's right.
I know.
Good luck.
Yes, I know. It's going to be a good fight in November, but
Yeah, I didn't realize who you were running against. So how is that working out now that, you didn't get some party support back then, but are they supporting you now?
we'll find out this week. So this week we are going to do our county party endorsements. I did screen with them like I did last time. I did my best as I did last time. I made sure I did the proper protocols like I did last time. I want to essentially earn their endorsement. I don't want to just get endorsement just because I have a Democrat next to my name, you know. Some of the challenges I do face in the district is ageism, sexism, and it's also a lot of political items. So with me being a different political party, it doesn't help a lot, but also being 28 years old when I first got elected, and then of course being a young Asian American woman as well does not help the situation at all. Hey.
Hi, welcome in.
Oh my God, your house is so nice. Is this new?
It is, yeah.
So is it just you and Brad then?
No, his sister's gonna move in with us. Oh. Yeah.
Well, when is she gonna move in?
They're actually on vacation right now. So they're in Seattle and then they're gonna go to Alaska.
A friend of mine did that.
Yeah. So how's the baby doing?
He's doing good. We're still tired and sleep deprived because he still keeps us up at night, but he's adjusting to life out of the womb for sure.
Yeah. Have you gone back to work since then?
I never really took time off.
Yeah.
Literally, the governor called me when I was pushing my baby out.
Really? Like were you in the hospital?
Yeah, when I was in the hospital, like literally pushing, I'm like, ignore that call!
Sorry, Mike.
When Tina said that she was running for office, I was excited for her. I was nervous for her because I knew that there would probably be some things coming about her because people want to win and they will do anything to win, especially in politics.
I remember being on Twitter and seeing something, and I had to remember, as me, I can go at someone, but as being her friend, I don't want to like someone saying, oh, her friends are terrible. So it was kind of tough seeing that stuff and not being able to like defend her.
All my friends and family are actually the ones who showed me the smear campaigns. When I did view it though, I just thought, oh God, such lies. But also, again, at the same time, I knew that it's just a part of politics. This is what they do. I filed for bankruptcy in 2017 after my final divorce decree and child custody battle. And they smeared me for that bankruptcy being filed alone. And they also smeared me for an incident when I was 23 years old and I bought my cousin a drink at a bar when she was just 20 years old. Getting another reminder of all the tough times of my life, it was overwhelming. It felt like I was still dealing with the trauma again, and it felt like I was reliving my trauma.
People act like, it's like, do you not have a past?
Yeah.
Yeah.
like yeah, you made mistakes when you were younger, but did we
Right.
not all make mistakes when we were around that same age?
Hey. Hey, Di. My aunt and uncle are essentially my adoptive mom and dad. So they were very important to my life and of course with the campaign trail because they believed in me from the very beginning, whether that be financial support, whether that be physical support, showing up to like my campaign fundraisers or showing up to my door knocking. They have been very supportive and periodically they also do watch my kids for me so that way I can go ahead and do work. Cheers to the baby.
Cheers to the baby. And
Oh. Postpartum life now.
before Asian community would think like these officials are like so high that it's like you can't really touch them because in Thailand or Laos you really can't touch them.
Yeah, because here in America, like at the temples, like when we have out-of-state visitors for like a big festivals, whatever, like you know how like I still act like a normal person. I don't act like I'm above anybody. So I'm sitting there helping out with dishes and stuff. So when these out-of-state visitors are like, is that Tina Maharath, the senator? They're like, yeah, she's doing dishes. Yes, my aunt and uncle that we are visiting here today are very fun people. My uncle loves karaoke. He loves having fun and joking around. My aunt loves to talk and loves to catch up on all the latest gossip news here in the district and here within our community. So that is what they play the big role for in my campaign trail, is to make sure I kept my spirit alive and make sure they came and support me physically at my events. They believed in me from the very beginning. I wasn't expecting to receive a phone call on November 27th to let me know that I actually won my election. I was going to become a state senator.
And so they really spent a lot of money with this attack, and they spent a lot of money. And what they did was that by this negative campaign, they actually helped Tina, because they kept saying her name on the air over and over and over again, Tina Maharath, Tina, over and over and over. And they gave her essentially free publicity. And people saw it for what it was, an unreasonable, unfair attack on someone who didn't deserve it. And they came back and it bit them. It was just a surprise to a lot of folks that Tina won, and I'm glad she did.
So when I did first get elected after winning by 705 votes and not receiving the county party, despite individuals telling me I'm not the face of the district, despite people telling me to wait my turn, I now feel like I belong and I earned their spot because I've introduced legislation that they've long been yearning for. These are pieces of legislation we've needed in this area for far too long. Even today, and even the last 4 years, every day feels unbelievable. It feels like a dream, essentially, because these are the halls that I was never determined to actually be part of. It wasn't a job that the 10-year-old me thought that I was ever gonna get. I am currently working on creating an Asian American Advisory Commission for the state of Ohio. It essentially works as the middle ground of connecting our state government to our Asian American community. We are currently the only ethnicity without an Asian American commission. So what that essentially means is our voices doesn't matter in state government. It's something that I've been working on since I've been elected. It is a bipartisan effort with Senator Neeraj Antani, who is also a fellow Asian American state legislator, but it's an experience that we don't plan on sitting down and just throwing under the rug. Hi, mẹ. Rồi. Cô sai gì? Rồi. I know. Can I die for you? Go ahead, have TV on. So we are here at the Buddhist temple today. I'm here to offer drinks to the Buddhist monks. And what the drinks represent is an offering to our deceased loved ones. So I have 3 drinks today to represent the 3 Buddhist monks here today. So post-campaign life, it is a little hectic and busy, and I brought our drinks to the monks for them to pass on to my ancestors. Traditionally, my family is Laotian American, so if they were alive today, they would love Starbucks. So I brought Starbucks for them and then enjoyed the meal with our community members so that way we can all celebrate our deceased loved ones together, whether they're here or not. That's when they finally told me about more parts of our family history. Because we were sitting down having a meal together, I told them I was running for office. They're like, oh, it's in your blood, actually. And then I asked more probing questions. What do you mean? And that's when I found out that my grandmother's siblings were actually also previous politicians over in Laos. To find out that I had politics in my blood made complete sense, and it kept my drive and momentum going, and it kept my grit alive, because sometimes it could be overwhelming being a super minority, especially being an Asian American woman. But when I think about having politics in my blood, I remember that this is meant to be. This is a part of my story. This is a chapter in my life that existed, and I worked hard to be here, and my colleagues have to accept that I belong here too.